good afternoon. Oh. Welcome to Abstract Excellence. Obviously, I'm JD Wright.
And I'm Siobhan.
Anthony over here.
AKA Art. My engineer and low-key genius over there, Stan the man. I got the kids out here too today. But today, it's our first official show, y'all. Yeah, so it's been a whirlwind week. We're gonna jump right into it with Love is an Action Word, which is what we're springing from today. That said, it's not what you think it is. We're not talking relationships, people. We're not talking relationships. We're talking about the I jump in front of a bullet, I'll dodge a car for the ones I love people, but they won't even live for the ones they love people.
Yeah.
Does that sound about right? I think that sounds about right. Yeah, that sounds about right. But that said, it's not a shadow or judgment or direct attack on anyone. It's just the realism of the situation is we talk a lot more than we do.
Yeah, definitely.
Feel free to chime in, folks.
Yeah, I think my generation says that the most though. Like, I'll ride for you, I die for you, and everything. I got you back $100 grand. But when push comes to shove, what is it that you really are riding for though? Do you really? Some people do it only because they really met somebody and they really got that one connection they had together. But other than that, what is it you really are dying for?
Well, it's funny you say that. I gotta find the thing it was. I think I posted on Instagram earlier this week in reference to, did you see the toxic friendships?
Yeah.
In terms of, didn't see that one? Did you see that?
I've seen part of it.
Yeah.
Is that what you sent me?
Yeah, I think, let me see. It was in reference to basically us kind of being bred in certain environments, and our friendships and even our relationships with family are based on the fact that we're kind of bred in a fishbowl and have no other choice. So a lot of relationships and friendships are based on trauma rather than actual love. And that kind of leads right back into the point of love is an action word. Going into that with our children, whether it be as a parent or whether it be as siblings or friends or however you have it. Like, we have far too much talking and posting and following and not enough action and investment in the things that we complain about.
You know, it's funny, just hearing what you were just saying and what you were just saying, just to piggyback a little bit. This is something that I think I just learned. When I say just learned, I'm saying maybe in the past 8 months about friendship. And I've always thought that I pretty much understood it completely and had it all together. But I think what I learned, the hardest thing that I learned about friendship is that I had to be okay with friendships that weren't going to be lifelong. And the saying, you have friends for a season, I never really got that. Maybe because of how we grew up, you know,
Right.
we was in a community where everyone looked out for each other, and you
blood
know,
out.
they literally watched us grow up and things like that. So that was kind of like the thing that was instilled in me and what I thought was going to happen. But now I'm realizing that you do have friends for a season, and I guess I'm now understanding it and being okay with it versus fighting and forcing things or trying to battle with my own thoughts as to why things went certain ways with certain people, and our morals, our integrity, the things the things that wouldn't allow things to go but certain ways. And you know how I am about saying things that you don't mean because you cannot take it back.
We have freedom of range. I'm not cutting you off. This
Okay.
is what we do. This is how we really talk. So I'm not cutting
Yeah,
her off. It's
so
not
that-
rude. So, but she used the word integrity, and I feel like we need to touch on that real quick. Integrity Yes.
It's used loosely a lot.
Yeah, way loosely, but I'm about to give him a little something. Integrity is not defined by proclaiming to be honest. It's defined by the choices we make. When it comes to integrity, our words have to match our actions. We can't just say we have integrity. We must choose it. And it's a hard choice because it asks us to deny our selfish desires. We miss the opportunity to get what we want, when we want it, and how we want it. Denying your desires isn't easy, comfortable, or fun. Some won't understand the tone of this and the direction of this point of view. Because at the end of the day, choosing to travel a path unknown is scary.
Very. Quick question. Did you know I was going to say integrity? Nope. Or you just had that? Okay.
No idea. And that's real.
I mean, that was real fast how you pulled it up. I'm like, okay.
Not one at all, but this is just how it works out, people.
I didn't know.
But because we springboard off integrity,
yes.
it kind of leads, again, right back to the point of action, right? And my man Stan.
Yeah.
Can you break down what we were talking about a few minutes ago about one of the 5?
Oh, the 5 principles. Well, one, I wanted to say something about friends. You know, the legal definition of friends is real interesting. It says that a friend is one who is willing to invest in you, and you invest in them. You know what I'm saying? So when I found that out, I looked at everybody who I called a friend, and I was like, well, what do they contribute to my life? Do they give me good advice? Do they do anything positively in return for what I give them positively?
So hold on, because I want you to get on that. But I did. You just threw me somewhere else for a second. So you got to understand what you just said, right? So check this out. It's not so much as in the friend as what you said, the investment.
Yeah.
Right. It's not like he's saying you're giving expecting to receive, but the word investment means I'm putting something in
right,
with the expectation that something's going to grow
right
from this investment.
Like fruits of your labor.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. That said, people have this tendency to say, well, if you're going to do something for somebody and expect something in return, then you are the person that's not the friend.
Right.
But what he just said very soundly, investment. If I pour everything out, then what? Right?
Right.
So I give you everything I have, and you feel like you give what you can, but you're giving just what you can, and me giving everything I have.
Right.
Or that bare minimum thing. You have some people
like
the saying 50-50. I don't like that because I never give 50-50. I always give my all.
Right.
I don't even want it if it's not your all. I don't want mediocre or halfway. I want exactly what and it's for me, it's not a tit for tat. It's like if I'm pouring into you and I'm continually to pour into you, you're not pouring into me. I can't continue to pour. Once it's empty, what happens then?
Right.
So that's a bit touchy. I know when like you was speaking on you said the legal term for friend?
Yeah, the legal definition.
The legal definition. That's so iffy because I don't.
It's not like you have an expectation. It's the very nature of what a friendship is. You give to that person. You know what I mean? And that person is supposed to give to you.
Yeah.
Just not like, when I give you this $5, you better give me 10. No, it's more like I invest what I can. You know, people have different kinds of wealth of knowledge. Some people got money. Some people, you know what I mean? But you give what you can give. And usually what I find is those that can't give but only take, they're not really my friends.
And then sometimes I think we're not able to identify. I know for me, that was like a big thing for me growing up with my friends. Sometimes when you're in something, it's hard to identify with. So and that's that love is an action word. Sometimes you can love people so much that you're blinded to a lot of things. Whether it's the selfishness, it's the one-sided friendship. Growing up, I wasn't the needy friend. I've always had support from families and things like that. So when it came a time when I needed something out of my friendship, and the only thing I ever needed was empathy. And when I didn't get that, it was literally like it all fell down. That was the literally immediate breaking point for me. It wasn't financial. I was always told that saying about lending money out and things like that. It wasn't that. It was for me at a very hard time in my life that I needed a friend. And I think certain things you just expect to happen, whether it's death or bereavement or grievement. And when I didn't get that, it taught me something. It taught me that my friendship was one-sided. I was all those things to my friend, best friend, and I didn't get that back. So that was hard. It wasn't even about money. It was just the fact that at my lowest, the lowest, when I didn't even know my own strength, I had people surrounding me, but it's just sometimes the person that you know that knows you the most, that connection, and you expect it.
Yeah.
So I honestly expected that person. I felt like that she was obligated to be there during such a hard time for me, and when she wasn't there, it was very hard for me to grasp that. It literally shattered over 15 years of friendship. It was hard for me to get over that. I could get over money, but that right there, I had no understanding about that. So I typically don't have those type of issues, but again, sometimes when you're not the needy friend, if you're always to everyone avail and you're never needed, or you didn't know that you needed someone to be available for you, and when that happens and you don't get it, it's like, really?
Like the listener rarely has a listener.
Yes.
Because by nature, for better or worse, we enable a lot of the times the people we love or the people around us that we love and that I believe legitimately love us. Like I don't, issues, family issues.
Yes.
Because we're talking friends, but we talk a lot about a lot of different things, personal issues and relationships within our family, which really is what this really is. The Love is in Action word really stems from.
But the friendship technically starts from family, because your
Absolutely.
cousins,
Your first
those
friends.
are typically your first friends,
At
and
least they
your,
should be.
it has should be. But that is typically, those are the friends that you don't get to choose.
Right.
Those are that's the things that happen natural, and I'm big on that. I don't want anything I have to force. I just don't. I want it to be natural. I don't want us to have to plan to be best friends. I want us to have a connection, things that we both enjoy, or us to have that natural connection where it just fall in line.
Again, I've known this one here. Since.
Crayon days.
Yeah. Like I said, it's got to be like at least 5 and 6.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because I can't. When people ask questions about how we met, it's so crazy because I can't remember. Your memory is a little bit more.
Well, I just told you that.
You just told me that.
She'll remember though. My mother's over here, y'all. Just so you know. My brother Tony, my oldest brother, actually like her cousin, and I remember I was with him. However the case is, I probably shouldn't have been, but I was with him and probably walked across the street, and she was sitting on the step. He went in the house to go see her cousin, told me to sit right here. That was the first time we met.
Yeah.
We were playing cards on the step, and that was
Yeah.
the rest of history. However, we not didn't speak because we had a falling out or anything. Life just gets in the way. So at least let's say 8 or 9 years, maybe, right? Maybe not necessarily not speaking at all. Yeah, we would
not
speak
consistent
because
in between the 8 or 9 years.
Right, but like we back to now, like we were before. Like I talk to the store every day,
Yes.
times for hours at a time. So that was missing for 8 or 9 years. Let's say that. So
And you know what's crazy though? I always say I feel like if you can get through puberty, teenage years, you should be able to get through adult years, because I feel like that's during the time when we really don't know what a friend is, and we're learning ourselves.
Yes.
And we're understanding things. We're growing pains, and I always felt like that is like the true testament of friendship. You lose some, you win some, but I think that it starts the set the tone and the groundbreaking
And that's
as
the
to what
process.
friends are.
Right.
Because I think a lot of times when we young, we don't know what friends are, and we make a lot of mistakes. And it's all part of us being young and learning ourselves and not knowing who we are. So it's crazy that we went through
Right.
we went through our teenage years
But
with
see,
Breeze.
hold on, look, and to say like what she said, things coming back naturally because it was never any animosity, any problems. Like so, even when it went throughout the years we would talk, it was always
just life happening.
natural
and-
thing.
yeah.
So I think when it's real and when it's genuine,
Yes.
it'll find its way to the surface, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know, like a rose to the concrete. It'll it'll find its way through. I need to get back to that principles, buddy.
Oh, the five highest
Yeah,
principles.
before I lose my thought, that's why I stopped.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, talking about the 5 highest principles known to man
Right. And I get back to my point, y'all.
from our ancestors, and they are the first is love, second is truth, the third is peace, the fourth is freedom, and the fifth is justice. And they will say in that order, like you can't know truth without love, you can't have peace without truth and love, you can't have freedom without
Hold on, go back to
I like that. Okay, yeah.
yeah,
in that order.
Yeah, I'm kind of taking all that.
Yeah.
So
So
have peace.
right. So it's love,
Two
truth,
your
peace,
lives.
freedom,
Right,
and
yeah.
justice in that order. So without love, you can't have truth. Without peace, to have peace, you need love and truth.
It
To
doubles on
have
each.
to have freedom, you need love, truth, and peace. And to achieve justice, you need love, truth, peace, and freedom.
I like that.
So in that order.
Justice.
Why ain't
thing.
nobody tell us that a long
Justice.
time
Right,
ago?
hold on, listen. With everything going on in America,
Yes,
specifically,
that
justice
needs
being
to-
the last, and
yeah.
us having to have these things in order.
Yeah. Those principles out there.
Maslow's hierarchy theory also has 5 steps. It's interesting how you look at a lot of things with this 5-step principle,
Mhm.
even when you know the 5 powers of like. It's just a lot of things with 5. It's just interesting, but
Right.
that's for another day. I don't know where I was going with that. Shit.
Right.
But I think, and what he was talking about as far as love and love is an action word.
Yeah.
Having my kids here is not just for fun. Wanting to. I had a conversation with my boys the other day, right? And I was telling them that as much as they want me to be proud of them and approve their grades, I want them to be proud of me as a father, just as proud, if not prouder, because my life should be an example of how to navigate and not just something I did while working and having fun, and now they're gonna still have to figure it out all on their own. Like I think that what we talk about in terms of the difference between being, what is it, raised and
Brought up.
and brought up, right? Leadership versus supervision. All these things matter in the sense of love being an action word. And as I was telling them, like, I want to be the difference rather than just being different, because just being different is just getting up, changing my hair color possibly. But being the difference is actually doing something that matters. And I
The
think
things
that's
you wish to see.
Yeah, purpose.
Yeah.
So that said, I just think we have to do a better job of focusing in on self, looking in the mirror, actually being accountable for the choices we make, rather than just being reactive and waiting for a moment to jump in action and say, "Oh, I'm here for you. I got
Right.
your back. I'm a ride or die." Like, but where's the
Right. You said it, man. Like when you say love is an action word, you just said a key word, reactive. When I hear love is an action word, I think proactivity.
That's
I don't think.
one of my favorite words right there.
Yeah, like when you really
Proactive.
love somebody, sometimes you gotta go a little bit further than they're willing to. Like my father, he's diabetic. Now I'm a vegan. he can't go there with me. You know what I mean? But what I do is I'll go out and get the food, get the stuff. I already have it prepared, have it smelling good, and nobody can turn down a good meal. You know what I mean? But he getting the nutrients and all that because I'm making sure it's there. Where, you know, he probably would just, you know, throw some ham hocks on there or something, or fry some fish. You know what I mean? But he's a little bit too old to eat like that, so I try to
Go the
get
extra mile.
Yeah, sometimes that's love. You know,
That's literally the action of love. That's what we're talking about. But I'm sorry.
But just hearing that, because you know the vegan thing is a big thing.
Yeah.
But for me, I hear about vegan and alkaline. I hear about all these things, and I use the term trendy. But I always tell people, you can be vegan, you can take every vitamin, but if you don't get rid of the toxic things that's in your mind and heart and body, it does not matter what you eat. Because I'm
the number one killer.
Yes, I'm a firm believer in the things you believe, the things you think. It resonates. And some of you ever heard the saying that people wear their feelings on their sleeve? I'm one of those. Like, sometimes people can tell when you're having a bad day. Could be your facial expression, your body language, your lack of not talking. If you're normally a person that comes in the room and super talkative and bubbly. But I think in our generation, we tend to forget that when we're, you know, cutting up vegetables and fruits. That's like what Nip said. In you and on you.
Right.
If you are still consumed by such toxic and negativity, vegan or not,
I want to say this, like, we did not plan this show at all. So the way this is running together, because what I'm about to go back to, what he said, which all makes sense. We did not plan this stuff. But so what you're saying in reference to, you know, kind of, it's not going to matter in terms of, you know, emotionally healed, mentally healed, is basically the same thing that he just described in the 5 steps.
Oh yeah. I wanted to mention that to you, like how with you being younger, when he broke that. Remember how I was looking at Jermaine saying, "Why ain't nobody tell us that?" Right. When you heard him repeat it the first time, and then when he gave us the principles and broke it down, what did you think? Like, what did that resonate with you being so young? Because
that's a great question.
It actually kind of brought everything together from my generation, because all we do is just go straight to social media and find the first person we find a connection with, the first stranger we find a connection with, and we be like, hey bestie. You could be like all the way in Cali, you could be like in Denver somewhere, like you never seen each other. And what he was saying is that we got the social media platform is so strong now that we don't even realize it. And when you're saying the justice thing, we can really use that to our advantage, and we don't. But some people do, but it's not enough voices to hear it.
Well, you want to know something about social media? It's funny. Social media itself is actually broken down the social construct. Mm-hmm. And we never even talked about this. Just came to me, FYI. Like, so, social media literally is broken down the social construct. And you would think that it would do the opposite, right? Right. But because of the disconnect of what he just said, social media takes away from the actual physical contact of us having to actually get to know one another. Yep. You know, facial expression, body language, tone of voice. It kills all of that. So if you kill all of that, the construct is dead, because all you going on basically an image, and I can sell you whoever I want to sell you from across the world, or from an image and a profile. It's
actually a restaurant. The couple actually has a show on HGTV where they do the flip homes, and they're a Christian family. They have a lot of books into Hobby Lobby. You know, that's a Christian arts and crafts store, but they have a restaurant that they build. I don't want to. It's somewhere in the South. Not really sure where. I think it's Chip and George. Okay, you know that? Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, so they have a restaurant, and I remember when they were doing the foundation, and you know how they showed through these HGTVs the beginning. And one thing that I love that they have these little pockets on the side of the tables. So when you are together, you can take your phones and put it in a pocket so that you can have that dialect, the family time, and talk and enjoy each other. And hearing you say that, I've been a lot of places where the phones are consuming so much of your time, and just having conversations, or even so much as when I go into an elevator. You know, you used to go into an elevator, the doors open, and everyone head is down, earbuds is in, no conversation, no good morning. You don't hear it anymore. It's so odd that I was just at Children's with my son, and we were going in the elevator. It was already people in there. When we got in, first thing I said is hello, good morning, and everybody was looking around like, was she? And one lady said, I'm
Like
so
you-
sorry. You know, like it was foreign a little bit.
But my parents were from the South, and they were very friendly people. And I'm looking at you and Jermaine, and I was smiling, kind of not tear up, and listening to you saying about love. We came from families who were in slavery and stuff, so we knew how to love, but it wasn't pain love. But we really didn't know what love is. I am so blessed and thankful that I have a 38-year-old son who puts me in check. He puts me in check when he says, you say this that way, but do you really mean it that way? He can tell when I'm in a bad mood, and I be saying I'm okay. I watch you all grow up, and I look at Q Street, and we know what we went through on Q Street. And I am so blessed to be here to see that you all are developing. And, as old people, which I'm not, we don't want to accept what God is doing through you all, because we don't want change. I have to be better. I just told Jermaine, he told me something that I got to address his 3 siblings with. Now I'm on broadcast because I always want to sugarcoat it, make it feel good for you when I should make it feel truthful to you. You know what I'm saying? So, as I watch you all, I am proud to see 3 young black young people developing their lives for the best, for like these little ones. Because that's what it's about. We tried to give you all the best that we knew how, but the Bible said that you all will be smarter and wiser. And I am so blessed to be living to see the wideness in you all.
Well, that said, not to cut you off. Well, yes, to
Correct.
cut you off because you'll keep going. Yeah, that smarter. I don't know about wiser. Is it correct? Smarter, yes, and that kind of goes back to his point. Smarter, absolutely. Wiser, I'm not so sure. Because if you were wise, you wouldn't make those decisions that you were just talking about. Like some things for us. Well, I know we've had these conversations. Some things for us to seem, oh, well, hold on one second. It looks like we have a caller, and that is a first for me. So we're going to take a little break here and come back to you in a minute.
Everyone has a story to tell, and I know you do too. But you don't know where or how to start? Imagination Press will help you. Write, edit, and publish your book on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Lulu.com, Ingram, as well as helping you reach markets across the globe. Call us today on 301-379-2709 for a free one-on-one consultation, or visit our website and send us an email, imaginationpressonline.com. Again, that's imaginationpressonline.com. Imagination Press is your complete guide to publishing, branding, and promotions. Give us a call today.
Hello, good people. So, we'd like to fashion out. What? Hey, who's
Caller?
that? Caller? Hello?
Hello?
Caller.
Yes.
Who am I speaking
Can you
with?
hear me?
Yes?
Hi, is this the Love Connection show?
Is it the who?
The Love Connection.
I don't think so. Who is this?
This is Ron Bass. I have a quick question for you guys in the comments, if I could.
Shine, you play too much. You play way too much. Doc, get your husband. It's Doc and Shine, y'all. What's going
Why do I have to
on?
fight every night to prove my love?
Huh?
Why do I have to fight every night to prove my love?
I think something had to be turned down.
Yes, it's
See if it's,
No, okay, here's
Is he
my
listening?
comment. Love is an action word, correct?
Abstract.
we're trying-
excellent.
yeah,
I
we-
think he said something about.
We're trying to hear you.
Love is an action word, correct?
Yes.
Okay, love being an action word, faith without work is dead, correct?
Oh,
Faith
absolutely.
without work is dead.
Faith without works is dead. Yes.
Okay, so faith without work and love being an action word, so love creates an action. And in order to have faith, you must have action.
He said love. I'm sorry, y'all couldn't hear that. He said love creates an action. And I couldn't hear everything, but that was enough for me, brother. Wherever you are.
Okay, remember faith without action, right? In order to have faith, you need to put in work.
Saying faith is about action. In order to have faith, you need to put in the work.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, there we go with love being the action word. That's the action of faith. Love.
I couldn't hear him that
I didn't hear what he
time.
said.
You got us on speaker.
You got us on speaker.
Love.
You got to have us on speaker. By the way, now that we have a call, y'all can call in 240-719-2560. If you can hear that. 240-719-2560. Call in now. We'll take some callers. But until then, we'll continue doing what we want. So as I was saying before we went to break and surprise caller, his generation, my son's and daughter generation, will definitely be smarter than our generation. But that whole wise thing kind of goes way out the window because they constantly make decisions that sometimes it's like that's kind of a common sense thing. It's kind of get into that common sense
Tim,
really
I
ain't that
think it'd be
common.
a lot,
But
Tim.
okay, that's not an indictment on the next generation. It's an indictment on us. We're failing them because at that point, here we go. Love is an action word. If we aren't leading with the love that we're speaking, then we're failing them.
Because we have a saying, with me and the village that is helping to raise my son, that we have a saying, let's raise children that don't have to suffer from their parents' mistakes and things.
Or recover from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hearing you say that just immediately made me think of that.
Because the real of it is like the youth, specifically the young adults, that 18 to 25 range get a horrible rap. And yes, there's some level of disrespect and chaos, but there was the same level of disrespect and chaos in our generation.
Yeah, I think they,
You don't-
I beg to
Yeah,
differ.
I
I
don't
think
think
they
so.
a bit.
I'm gonna defend.
Nah.
Listen, generation. What
Generation,
do y'all
the
call
things that
Generation
you
Y,
guys
right?
done,
Generation
even
Y, I'm
to this
defending y'all.
age.
We were just as
Even
bad.
in this age,
Don't believe it.
I'm not saying certain things around certain people's
Well, no,
parents,
you're right.
even
You're
if
right.
I don't know
joke.
them. The
But
level
that's
of respect.
That's not on them though. That's what I'm saying. That's not their
Yeah.
fault.
No, it is. And I was told that when you use something in the correct term, you know what you're doing. It's
Well,
even
no,
with
I'm not
children.
saying that you don't know what you're doing.
No, they know it because you pick and choose. If it was done to their grandmothers or mothers and they
I see
bucked
where
the
you're going with
system,
it. I got where
they
you're going.
know.
I got you.
So it has to go both ways, but there is a huge disconnect in the generation in their respect. What they consider respect and things like that. I couldn't even, at my age now, the things that I hear, I couldn't even fathom saying, period. The relationships or lack thereof relationships that they had with the elders or their parents and things like that, I think plays a huge part in a lot of things. So that's like a big thing I think that a lot of the youth have. They don't respect their selves for one, so they don't respect their households, their parents. So when you're out and it's another older person or someone's mom and they can't understand why you're looking like, watch your mouth, baby, someone else that's a bit older over here, or it's children in here and they give you the eye versus saying, oh, my apologies, because I know when we were young, they didn't have to worry about that. And if someone was to check us,
Okay. We have another caller
Come on
coming
up.
through. You're on the line. Good afternoon. What's happening?
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh, we're doing well. Thank you. You all doing a fantastic job.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Hey, Doc, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on with you? I just wanted to agree with you all. You all both have cogent points on what the generation is doing on both sides, and it is something that is true that every generation mirrors the generation before it.
Well, that's actually because we didn't cover that point. And see, that's actually great because she's calling in from another generational point of view.
Right.
Because I didn't even think about that side.
No, yeah,
When you
because
say,
we didn't
like,
see that. We didn't
Right.
see you all disrespecting your parents, or we didn't. It wasn't even made comfortable. And that's how I use the term comfortable. You all didn't make us feel comfortable to disrespect.
But you know what happened with that? Now that I'm thinking
Or
about it, the
speak
way
out
that
of
she
line.
said it is, and this is why we failed them. So what happens is, we were raised that way, and we wouldn't dare do it. But part of
We didn't disrespect our parents, but we bucked the system of the world in which we live in.
Right.
And by bucking the system without solution, it didn't give much for you all. Well, you all were given things,
And that's what I was getting
provided
at.
for in a way.
It taught us how to rebel, right? But we didn't rebel against our parents because we wouldn't disrespect them. So what we did instead, when we became parents, we gave our kids the freedom we didn't have.
But not just our parents. We didn't rebel or be disrespectful against elders or people of certain age.
Right,
Period. It
right.
didn't even have
But
to
we've given out. This is why our kids have, like, you hear people say it all the time. I wouldn't have never got away with that. But we give our kids the freedom we didn't have.
That's
you got to
that's
ask
why they
yourself
have a
why.
sense of entitlement.
Right. Because of us though. That's our generation. Because we wanted it. So instead of understanding why our parents did it, we like, well, now we adults and we got kids. We gonna do it our way, and that's a rebellion. But at the end of the day, it's okay to take and create your own way, but at the same time, you have to still take some traditions from the past. And I think we
always talk about that. I think
shows.
some things need
still there,
to
Doc?
stay
I'm
the
sorry.
same. Some things.
I'm right here. No, I'm listening. I was just wondering what the solution would be for how do we right the ship before we sink.
I'll let you go there first. Oh, I'm sorry. Just stand and wait.
No, go ahead. I was just going to go ahead.
I said, how do we right the ship before we all sink? Because we're all in the same boat.
Well, I want to say this. It goes back to, the conversation we was having a couple weeks ago. What I find, a lot of young people that, people think are rebellious, they're just extremely, extremely, extremely sharp. They won't take a lot off of elders that really don't understand what they're talking about. Like I go to a lot of hoods, the young people on the corner, they just don't respect the train of thought and a lot of the non-research of our elders. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta understand, a lot of young people can go on the line and find out many truths that their own people won't tell them. This is where I feel like the disconnect comes in. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like a lot of young people look at older people and are slightly kind of like, well, y'all doing us a disservice by not giving us certain truths. And then a lot of young people think older people are a little cowardly, honestly, because older people won't come to them. I'm telling y'all, when I talk to young people, this is what they tell me. Because I go on any corner. Walk up on anybody with a gun, anything, and tell them who they are. This is who you are. This is your history. And these young people love me for that. And they ask me, well, how come people don't approach us like that? Because we don't have enough courage. I'm sorry.
I think part of it's courage, but I also think too, because you have to understand the generation in which we came through. We came through a different era where there were a lot of things that were not told to us.
Yeah.
And we're just now, for some people in my generation, are finding out certain things that they went a lifetime of not knowing. So then, if you all know something, how do you teach? Because we're all responsible for teaching each other.
I have the answer to that. I absolutely have the answer to that. Yeah. That's, you know what? Here we go. Like, this entire show is based on love being an action word. So, the gift of vision has taught me that the only way to fix this problem is through action. And it's not some big stage play or a 100,000 people protest in the middle of nowhere with
agree.
music and pictures being taken, but it is
We missed
the gradual. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
No,
the
go
gradual steps needed to rebuild what we used to be, and the only way to do that is not through talking. It's not through taking pictures. It's not through posting statuses. It's through literally digging in the dirt and sacrificing the things that we don't want to because we want to live our best life.
good.
So there's an answer to the problem, whether we're willing to do it or not. At that, But go ahead.
I think with teaching, period, it has to be history. I mean, Google isn't history. The internet isn't history. That is the easy way out.
That's why I said walking.
You know, so I wouldn't even take advice from someone who just went on Google because I can do that. So for me, the disconnect and hearing that with because we were young too and we didn't always agree, but for me hearing you say that and me hearing a youth say that, the first thing I thought was a mitigator nerve. You didn't do enough. You didn't put in enough to even feel that way. You didn't put no footwork in to feel like the generation or the elders before you. Even when Kanye touching, it was so touchy on that when it's a touchy thing on the disrespect with the comment made about slavery. You didn't go through it. You don't get to talk and speak on something you didn't go through. Like, how dare you? When you went through stuff, my grandmother and your grandmother went through it. So I took big offense to that. No, I didn't go through slavery, but I know my grandmother and I heard the stories and I seen the things on her brother's fingers and hands. So when I hear that, I got very, very offended.
You
don't even get there.
You
didn't do enough. You didn't put in enough.
Let
so
me
you
say
didn't even
this.
feel any kind of way.
No.
You didn't do enough work.
Well, let me say this.
Google didn't. That's not work. You didn't hit the streets. You didn't do.
No.
We do enough work to feel some type of way.
We do the knowledge, man. We do the knowledge. The treaties and all that. All the information is out there, and it's not Google. And what I will say too about, like you said education. I also feel like, okay, a lot of these education systems is doing us a lot of disservice because they're constructing in a way to not teach you your history. You said, okay, we can't have Google scholarship. Okay, I agree with that. But your average textbook is not educating you on your own American history. You've been here for 1,000 years and everyone knows who you are. The school system is not purposely not teaching you. Purposely. And what I'm saying is the average youth can easily access the truth. And then they got to turn around and listen to somebody tell them something that they're not completely sure of. You know what I mean?
But who's the governor mayor on the truth, though? Who deciphers what that truth is?
I mean, there's historical scientists that have these truths.
I
can give them to you.
So who deciphers that truth, though?
Okay.
Who decipher what is factual?
Let me jump in quickly.
Okay, I can give you all that.
Let me jump in.
Yeah.
The whole principle and point of y'all both basically actually ironically making the actual point to the problem, which is the disconnect.
Disconnect.
She's coming from a traditional standpoint of saying, like, listen, you don't understand what we had to sacrifice to get to this point. Yes, I understand that we have advanced to the point of technology and the internet being literally the way of the world. My children can't put the phone down, and it has. However, we need both at this point because you can't. If you don't evolve, you die, right? So you have to evolve. However, the whole point of what she's saying with the whole "how dare you" thing is this: you have to understand that as much as we have to evolve, we also have to keep some. Matter of fact, let me give you the simplest way: if you strip your stomach or your intestines of all the bacteria, it's harmful. We need a little bit of bad and a little bit of good to make it all work together. So when you understand that point and that principle, you have to honor and respect those before you as well as those that come next behind you.
Now that's the point that I'm making exactly. Now her place is that she's coming from an assumption that I am also an African American. That's the first assumption. That I have the same experience as her and also with slavery. Now I will tell you for a fact, I am a Cimarron Washita. We are the same people.
I'm coming from an assumption.
Well, I'm just saying. You're saying that.
We talking from
I thought you was talking
we talking about the
generation
generational.
of
No, that's
people.
that's
You was
that's
Right. Well, that's what I'm
You
talking
to
about.
talk to you.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying.
Y'all basically talking from
We're
generational.
talking about the same thing from two different perspectives, or two different onlooks of the situation. Now, my people are the same people as your people. Okay, we are from the Americas. We have never been enslaved. As a matter of fact, my ancestors had European slaves, British slaves. To be totally honest with you, I have a totally different experience with slavery and a totally different onlook, and I have the historical records to prove it. You know, like for instance, the first slave ship was the slave ship Jesus. The major issue that we have in our community is that there are plenty of people like me walking amongst you with this knowledge, but we get frowned on, we get shunned. Anytime someone wants to give you a contrary opinion or perspective, the people automatically attack that person. So there's plenty of Cimarrons, there's plenty of Natchitoches out here, there's plenty of Washita that could tell you the truth. We got the truth, but the people don't want it. So a lot of us just stay silent and we just blend in with everybody else.
But see, that's
I don't
the
think
thing.
they don't want it.
That's
I don't think they
what I was just
don't
about
want
to
it.
say. Yeah.
I don't think they don't want it. What I really do believe is I think that Afro-descendants that are living in this country are conditioned not to accept it.
Right.
It's a conditioning, and I think that's what it comes down to. Our conditioning is such that we have a Eurocentric conditioning, no matter how black our skin is in this country, being native in this country from ancestry of slavery.
Right.
I think that's the problem. We're conditioned.
Yeah.
Our school systems are conditioned. Our parents are conditioned. They saw what they went through. They saw what their grandparents went through. Their great grandparents went through, and because they saw the way to make it to pass through,
Right.
and because they saw what it took to pass through, they've accepted that as being the norm, when it really shouldn't just be our accepted standard at all.
Right.
You know, I can't wait until you all get together on a panel and a room full, because this is going to be an interesting conversation. We
And
want
that's-
to have
that's what I
those
was
who
just
are
about to say.
Oh my gosh, I
Yeah,
can't wait.
I was just about to say, like, whether they understand it or whether he understands it, or even whether you understand it or mother, like even my kids don't understand. At the end of the day, we all here to eventually die, right? So we have to find a way to push forward the narrative in a better way together. Okay,
Yeah.
Understand what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I get everybody's points of view. I even understand that, you know, like you just said, there are things that are hard for us to accept and rectify with. But
Right.
at the end of the day, we have to. This
We
is
got
the
to.
love is an action word. This is the point. We have to find a way to meet one another where we are and not where we expect each other to be. And in
Yeah.
that sense, going the extra mile and putting in the effort to say, you know what, I may not agree with your point, but because I don't agree with your point of view don't mean I don't love you and don't want the best for you. So let's
Right.
figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Even if
Absolutely.
we can't work together, maybe I can put you with somebody else that you can work better with.
Yeah.
Like we so quick to, if we don't agree, oh, nah. Like, it's not that, because that's not the case. Like, what we were talking about in the beginning of this is toxicity. Like, we can't have toxicity
Right.
in our universe, in our that we can't do that. That y'all disagreeing about something, or that's not toxicity.
Right.
That's life. That's to say, like, listen, you have a brain, I have a brain.
Right.
If you stop and can think, you should have your own thought, right?
Absolutely.
That's it. I have
When
no
we
problem
disagree,
with
we learn. When we disagree, it's in disagreeing we can learn, because then I can hear a different point of view and actually learn how to defend my position better, or learn how to modify my position.
Yes,
when
absolutely.
I disagree, because if in that degree, in that position too. Hey, real quick before I jump off, JD, I want to let you know that our next week's show is going to be fantastic. We have Deanna Rice, who's traveling to us all the way from Charlotte, North Carolina. She's the CEO of the Sugar Foundation. We're going to have Jay on, and I think Coach is going to pop in there too. We're going to talk about this diabetes thing that African Americans or Afro-descendants in America are dealing with. And for that, I'm going to jump off and let you get finished with everything and finish watching you all out. Fantastic show.
Thanks,
everybody. Fantastic.
All right, Doc.
All right.
Well, you need to get, because you said you had something to say before.
I have a lot to say, but when you were speaking about the toxic things, I think with you can have a message, the deliverance and how you say it and what you say it, because I got lost in walking up to a dude on the street and he got that right there. I was connected, but when I got that,
and that's honesty.
I disconnected immediately, because it's sort of that thing when I was young. My mother used to say, I say something, then I say but, and she said, stop right there. But means this is what I really want to say. So everything, all that I said and all that mouthing and all that breath that I done did, she telling me, okay, so now when you say but, that means negate everything I said before. But this is what I really want you to know. So when I heard that part, I was connecting and everything. But when I heard that part, it just threw me off, because I'm thinking, what is the validity behind that part? That's what made me say, okay.
And see, this is where when we said, I'm gonna let
like
you go.
what
ahead,
part?
but
Like that
this
literally
is a
threw me.
great teaching point. You don't get this to happen that often, so I'm gonna take advantage of it. What she just said happens a lot. You have people that come from where we come from, or that come from backgrounds in general, and they may hear one or two things just like it don't sound right. And the minute they hear this, like she just said, everything after that becomes
Literally.
And that's a huge problem, though. Don't get me wrong. It's a huge problem, but you have to understand where we come from, right? So now you said something that was more an assumption, because, and I'm gonna tell you, I can tell you that because I know her, right?
Right.
But I understood why you said that because of her reaction to you.
Right.
Here we go. I'm gonna teach y'all something.
Okay.
Y'all both basically were making a lot of the same points because I talk to her on a regular. I know where her mind is, and I know where your mind is because we've had discussions before. But we sometimes can't even connect because of something so simple as 2 or 3 words, and nobody taking the time to do exactly what she just did. And I respect you so much for coming back, even though we're on the show, because it's an absolute teaching moment to come back and actually express what she was thinking in that moment, because it allows you to understand where she's coming from and vice versa.
Right.
But go ahead, brother.
Well, all I was saying was, you know, okay, that I feel as though, and the youth feels as though, a lot of youth, I won't say all youth, but a lot of youth that I connect with and I talk to, that people will not walk up on them and tell them how they really feel about them.
Right.
A lot of that doesn't happen anymore. Like when we talking about last age group, okay, the people ahead of us would walk up on us and tell us, hey, I don't really like what you're doing right here. Hey, pull your pants up, whatever. But the youth of today, a lot of people are intimidated by them. They are afraid of them. So what I was saying is that the truth of what I'm saying can cut through all of that. I could walk up on anybody on the street that is our people and connect with them. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? With simple truths.
So now this is what, hold on. This is what I'm gonna teach you something too here.
Well,
I mean, I was just saying, like I said, a lot of our people are intimidated by the young brothers on the street, or intimidated by anybody.
Listen, and this is the problem when I say disconnect. Hear me out, youngster.
Okay.
The automatic assumption is that it's specifically for my generation now. You know, because the generation before me, I don't know, but they may have felt the same way. But I know for my generation, and I like to fashion myself a lover rather than a fighter. But I come from a place where you got to survive, right?
Right.
So understand this point. Maybe in some cases, it has nothing to, I know for me, it has nothing to do with intimidation. It has to do with the fact that I have children and a wife, and I swear to God, excuse me, I shouldn't have done that.
Right.
I swear to goodness that I don't want to put myself in a situation where I gotta put hands on one of these little young dudes. So it's not even intimidation. It's, you know what? It's just better for me just to, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
and I'm not even talking about me, because I have no problem with it, because my whole goal for what Abstract Excellence is mentoring. It's leadership. It's actually getting down in the dirt and doing exactly what Stan is talking about. However, we have to be able to connect.
But check this out. I like how you said that when you with your, and that goes back with a lot of things when you talk about with those who had to get off the porch and pretend to be something they wasn't in the neighborhood we grew up in. And I really want you to listen when I say this. I really want you to kind of get this. And sometimes you don't want to say certain things because people will hear things and that'll lead in the beginning.
Right.
So I like how you think that. I have a son. He's about to be 16. He's special needs. You can look at him and you will not be able to tell. Right. So I'm not afraid of much of anything. His father wear his things like a badge of honor. There's nowhere he can't go. He's a very quiet, humble man. He doesn't have to say anything to lead.
Facts.
He doesn't, that's not in his, he's not a boastful guy. He doesn't, but, and he's very respected, but out of the respect of me and our son, to never put us in this situation, he's not worried about what he can walk up. He doesn't even lead with that. He doesn't even want to put himself in a situation where he'll be back in there for another 20. He doesn't want to put himself in a situation where he'll get in a confrontation and you'll harm him or he'll harm you. He's not even going to approach you with that because his mindset already is, whether his children I'm with him, is just like you don't know what he's capable of, and you don't care about his background, you don't know him, he don't know yours. So when he comes to you, he's not even going to come to you in a certain thing because immediately the way he approach you, that determines whether or not or how you respond. Men respect men, and that saying is very loosely. Men respect men, and you're a younger generation, and he's been there and he's done that. But he will come to you in a certain manner because he already looks at you as a man. He doesn't look at you just as a youth, and whether or not you put in, you did bids and you did that. He's not even going to go with that. He's going to come to you with a certain way because he's going to hope in return that you do that in return. So when you were stating about having the littles with you,
right?
I'm born and raised in D.C. You know, we've been in and out. We can go in any neighborhoods, but because of my situation, my son, it's certain neighborhoods that I won't go with him because I don't want to put myself in a situation because he doesn't understand. I don't even want to fathom what will happen. It don't matter who I can call and who can put it and who knows who name. For me, it's a matter of putting him in a situation or myself in a situation where potentially something can happen.
Well, let me ask you this. Okay, so
even if it's just a store.
Well, let me say this.
And I judge stores in neighborhood, and I hate to say that, but if I pull up and it's a slew of dudes, I'm not going to get out with my son because I don't even want to.
Hold on, let me ask this though. Let me ask this. Is it okay if let's say we're talking about Indian people. Now, can the average Indian person walk up on any other Indian person and strike a conversation?
Yes.
Right. Y'all just talked about, hold on, let me say this. You just said that, okay, it's certain hoods and things you wouldn't do because it's putting you in there. Hold on, I'm just making my point, though. Everybody else that has a NATO principle, they can communicate and talk to everybody else in their national group. We don't have that ability. That's all I'm speaking on. Hold on. Let me say this. I'm just speaking from the perspective of what the youth tell me. The people, they want people to talk to them.
Right.
They want people. It's not that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm the roughest, toughest. That's not what I'm saying. Hold on. That's not what I said though. That's not what I said. I said having the ability to connect with people with simple truths. The disconnect is there's a lack of truth. It's a lot of mistruth in the community, and the children, the young people who are star seeds. They come into this lifestyle. Everybody after 1980 and after, they're star seeds. They're spiritually gifted and intelligent. And we continuing a lot of the lies that create a discontention there. It's a discontent there because I can simply go online and look up a truth about myself and my history, but yet everybody in my line but ahead of me is telling me a lie that's meant to be perpetuated by my enemy. Right or wrong? No, that's all I'm speaking on. That's why the youth is doing what they do. They don't want to really hear nobody because ain't nobody want to tell them the pure truth, unadulterated. So you know what I mean? And I'm going to say this. Everybody does not have the capability. Everybody does not know their history well enough. Everybody want to speak on it.
So I know it's getting late for the show. I want to hear what you think before because I got something for it all. But go ahead. I want to hear how you feel about what they're saying.
So when you were saying that, I was thinking like, what is that we can do? Like when you were saying like meet in the middle and connect, like reconnect the bridges. What is that we can do to meet in the middle that we can actually let go and not hold on to. And that one all thing that came back to me was straight social media.
Yeah.
Because when he was saying like young youth wanna come up to a talk. When he was saying that you want to talk and everything, but social media is brainwashing everybody that all right, cool, I talk to him, I'll go post this next. Or when you were saying how people will talk, they want to talk to you, but then again they don't want to because they're intimidated, and then they go straight to social media and talk trash, or just because they didn't like them, or just because they don't know them. And when y'all was talking about the elderly, like when you was in elevator experience, I've been in that. I say good morning and everything. I'm a happy person. I wake up every morning with a smile on my face. I can say good morning to anybody on the street.
I'm sorry.
I don't care if I get a response back, but sometimes I do, and sometimes be the elderly ones that actually, some of them actually bring in that negative energy to the youth. They be the ones that be on the streets giving them false information like, oh yeah, I've been doing this and that, you need this and that. Instead of demanding, why don't you just sit down and talk and see where they at so you can actually meet in the middle and communicate and find a common ground. Instead of demanding like, oh no, you go do this, you go do that. No, that's not how we get. How can I say this? Not how we get down, but that's how we. How can I say this? That's how we. That's how you push us to do what we push us to the right steps and the right path.
I'm gonna walk the walk and finish this in a second, so I'm gonna let y'all all get y'all points out because trust me, I got this going.
Just hearing you say that, do you think that both the elders and your generation can be more welcoming, so that that bridge and disconnect of wanting to even approach can be just more receptive and receive? Because you go by body language, how you stated, and I would have never known that. I just was, how you had stated, me and you are two different ages, and how you had stated even in the elevator, you've spoken, you didn't get the same thing back. I've done it, and younger and older, and didn't. So the welcome, and the reason why I use the word welcoming is because sometimes you can look at a person and you can gauge. You ever been like going into a situation, or you might have walked in the door and somebody going off, so you walking through the door trying to figure them out, like, should I say something?
Right.
Like, are they still upset? So that's why I use the word welcoming, because sometimes people don't say things because they don't feel that welcoming thing that is, to say something or to speak. So that's why I use both generations, because you're saying you're speaking and they're not, or not always. And I'm speaking, I know I am too. So that's why I use the term welcoming. If both generations were more welcoming to each other, not just their peers in their age group, but more welcoming to be able to get you to pull that conversation. They, someone that's older than you might not even know all the things you're doing because they're not welcoming and things like that. That's why when I heard you say that, I'm like, maybe if we were more welcoming to each other, I'll be able to know more about you, or the girl in the elevator, or someone who you open the door for. If it was a sense of comfort that I'll be able to say something without giving the look, or a young person, maybe dismissing me or something like that. That's why I use the term welcoming, because I think that plays a big part in how the dialect happens with people.
I don't want to cut up. Let y'all. I'm gonna finish it up. Once you got anything else you want to say? Stan? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I just want to say, return to the first principle. It's all love.
Always.
It's always from a place of love, and really, we do need to just embrace each other. We need to be able to look at the strengths and weaknesses of one another, the elder strengths and weaknesses, and the young people's strengths and weaknesses. You know what I mean? I think that a lot of times what happens is we overlook one another. The elderly overlook the young people and their talents because they don't understand, and vice versa. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So we got to create some type of cohesion and come back together.
And you all said love, and love is an action. And I agree with you 100%, because I can walk out that door. I'm going to speak, and if I think that you're in distress, I'm going to put my hands on you and I'm going to pray. And I'm going to say, can I help you with something? I'm not going to look at the Anthony's, you, Jermaine, because your pants hang down. Because when I was coming up and born in 1949, we had the hot pants, but we talk about the girls' dresses up. We wore the cut neck, but we talk about the girls coming up. You can't come into church looking like that, but we went in everywhere looking like that. The schooling got sent home. I see a drug addict on the street, I'm gonna walk up and say, baby, you need to go to the hospital, you need to go to the doctor. We lived on Q Street, they were shooting. I walked out in the middle of the street and they were shooting. The quarter stopped, Q Street stopped. My kids hollered, Mama, you gonna get shot. I said, nothing but God gonna take care of me.
No
and I'm not saying it or trying to brag, but as adults and older people, we don't wanna give you all a chance because we wanna criticize how you look, but never look back how we look. And it's got to be a meeting ground somewhere, and it starts with all of us.
Right.
Stop judging the look of a person and look at their heart. Look how they feel. Like you said, an expression on your face can tell you in distress. You just want somebody to say, how's your day? I speak to people and they don't speak back. So I know when the young people speak to them and they don't speak back, they feel, well, dang, I'm trying to do the right thing.
Right.
Okay. So, I'm going to sum this up as best as I possibly can. First and foremost, thank y'all, everybody. We need this, though. Like you said, you started like it's all love. I hope you understand that first and foremost, you're not going to understand because you don't know her. So there's absolutely no ill will from her. This is who she is. If she disagrees, she will tell you. People do not understand her, and some people call her names and things like that. But once she's done, it's it. It's over. Because she's an intellect. Again, people don't understand this, though. So I'm telling you that now that I have to explain it. But, I noticed you said that, so I want you to understand. But we do this on a regular, so it's nothing. That said, I think, man, first, this awesome day, I had no idea what to expect today because a lot of different things have happened. But my point and principle behind Abstract Excellence and my purpose in general for wanting a platform to pull all this together is to start these conversations. The passion that we had today is needed on a regular. And when I say that, I mean it to say, we don't have to agree, but we have to care enough to push one another to these points of what you saw have to happen after. And I watched her through the screen. That's what I was looking at. I watched your mind work literally before you came back to the point of saying, you know what, let me explain why I reacted that way. Like, that's necessary because if we conversate and communicate long enough, we'll start to break down some barriers. So here we go. This love is an action word. I want y'all to take this and literally walk with it, talk with it, live with it, breathe with it, because the action of love is far more important than the expression of love. And hear that clearly again. The action of love is far more important than the expression of love. And if we didn't get anything from that, along with what my mother said in reference to the generations being smarter versus wiser, I tried to make that point, and he kind of alluded to it in the sense that you look at the younger generation, super smart, all the good stuff, but the wisdom of understanding what's going on in front of them sometimes is lost. So instead of us being combative toward that because we get frustrated and impatient with that, we have to live the action of looking ourselves in the mirror and saying, listen, I care enough to go through the headache of living my life in a different way because I know maybe, like you said about football, maybe you can't approach them because they hot heads, but you know what, I can do better. I can just, I can be a little bit better of me today by doing something simple and saying hello in the elevator. Like, it's not, we don't have to overtalk and overthink the whole thing. Sometimes it's just as simple as getting up today and say, I'm gonna do one thing better today than I did yesterday. And that's the action of love. Until next time, y'all, tune in. Jay, say goodnight. We out of here.